Hey, we are Dr. Shane and Liz Watt, and welcome to the Be Healthy Naturally podcast.
We are doing this podcast because we are trying to bring knowledge and education to create a new way of thinking about our health.
Knowledge is the key to live a happy, healthy life, and our goal is to help you live your best life.
Thank you for being on this journey with us, and we hope you enjoy this episode.
Keith Moeller received a doctorate of naturopathy. He has co-authored numerous peer-reviewed published articles, textbooks, and other publications on silver. He authored a general guidebook on the history and medicinal use of silver and is the recipient of numerous awards and innovations, including patent honorary positions as a member of the U.S. Special Operations Medical Association, and 5 awards in the last 3 years for Best of State Awards in Utah in categories such as Medical Innovations and Applied Science and Technology. Keith Moeller received a doctorate of naturopathy. He has co-authored numerous peer-reviewed published articles, textbooks, and other publications on silver. He authored a general guidebook on the history and medicinal use of silver and is the recipient of numerous awards and innovations, including patent honorary positions as a member of the U.S. Special Operations Medical Association, and 5 awards in the last 3 years for Best of State Awards in Utah in categories such as Medical Innovations and Applied Science and Technology. So thank you, Keith, for being on today. And can you tell us a little bit about you and who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I've been working for about the last 30 years in the silver industry. So we engineered, back at my old company 30 years ago, we engineered a new form of silver and filed a bunch of patents on it and so forth. And about 4 years ago, I separated off and started my own company. And we've been able to accomplish some really great things in the last 4 years. And as you can see, we've won a whole bunch of Best of State awards for like medical innovation. And we're talking about stuff that, you know, major hospitals and billion-dollar biotech companies are trying to do, and we've actually done them. And
Can you give us just an idea of what some of those awards were for? Like, what was the things that you did?
So last year, just for an example, we brought out a new product that would heal eczema. 1 out of every 5 kids has eczema. And we brought out a new product that would heal eczema in as little as a week. And
wow,
it's a big deal. So it is a registered drug product, but over-the-counter drug. But we're able to pull that off with ingredients that were natural ingredients. So we use stuff like the nano silver and colloidal oatmeal and hyaluronic acid. So by engineering these products and then getting them approved or registered as drugs, we can then make direct claims. We can help kids all over the world, and we can do it with direct claims, but still use a natural product.
So it's actually classified as a drug, but it's a natural product. You did it that way so that you could actually make the claims of healing and things of that nature, which you cannot do if it's just natural, correct?
Correct. You can't make any direct claims like mitigation of the skin and itch and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And we were able to get it registered as a drug, not only for eczema, but dry skin, also for rashes, for treating stuff like poison ivy, poison oak. And actually what you're doing is taking out all the itch and burn and eliminating the issues on the skin. So we found that our nano silver years ago could help eliminate toxins. And so it could precipitate out the toxins actually in like poison ivy. So if you get poison ivy on you, it's a resin and it has all these toxins and it raises havoc for like weeks. But we could make it so it was no longer toxic. And so now we have an FDA registered drug that's a cream that we actually originally engineered as a face cream for women. So it has like 4 different types of hyaluronic acid, which is like the fountain of youth for the skin. It will hold about 1,000 times its weight in moisture in the skin, makes it intensely soft. But what we found was that we could heal eczema so fast, we pulled it back, and instead of marketing it as a very high-end skin cream, it was much more important to be able to help heal kids and adults. So some of the kids that are in the state of Utah that have used it, that actually made some commercials like on Channel 2 and stuff for us, but there was kids that had been fighting eczema their whole lives, bleeding, the itching, the scaling of the skin, and we cleared them in like a week or 2 weeks. And so changed their whole lives. And that was much more important to us, than being a high-end cream. So there's a lot of women that still use it because they love the product. But
They
the
use it on the
ability to help
off-brand.
a kid, and it
They use
also has direct claims on like chicken pox. The funny part was they wouldn't let us make a claim on shingles, which is the exact same virus.
Right.
And it helps immensely for the itch and burn. It's the only thing I've seen that helps the itch and burn of shingles. But they let us make a direct claim on mitigation of the chickenpox themselves. So dry skin, rashes, all that stuff, sunburn, it can make a direct claim on helping eliminate, soothe, and help heal up sunburn, right?
Wow.
That's just one of the products that we make. So we have a gel product in that we claim promotes natural healing, and that's in the U.S. In Canada, it's already approved as for example, a drug for antimicrobial action, the ability to kill heinous pathogens like MRSA, the methicillin-resistant staph. We have like 10, 15-minute kill times on. So if you have a skin infection that's a MRSA, it can kill you in as little as 3 days. But in Canada, we can already make direct claims on being able to mitigate that. And so we sell it in the U.S. currently as a cosmetic with the ability to help promote natural healing. But in Canada, we also got it approved so that we could treat a sunburn. And there's almost nothing that is approved to treat a sunburn. And so you have like aloe vera that takes out the cools it, soothes it, but won't treat the burn. So we can take a sunburn and we can heal it completely in like 3 days. So if Shane was a lobster, in 3 days we could have him be completely back to normal. So in the
Does it
US,
work on does it work on like higher grade burns as well, like grade 2 and grade 3 burns as well? Have you tested on that?
Yeah, so we have case studies that are published and peer reviewed showing that, like, let's go for an example. We have a medical professional here, a nurse practitioner, runs a big emergency center in Oregon, and he had gas blow up on his face. So he was on fire, and every time he breathed in, it would suck flames up his nose. So day one, University of Utah Hospital, they told him, you have to come to the conclusion you will never look the same. So his hands and his face, he was all wrapped up like a mummy. And in 14 days, we healed him completely. No striated scar tissue, no negative stuff. So it's a published study. We have data all over. You can see the whole thing.
Wow, that's incredible.
Period, and it's like every.
How did he know who you were?
He had been using our gel in his practice for years.
Oh, okay.
So, in the meantime, we're working on also getting that one approved in the U.S. for direct claims on the treatment of diabetic ulcers. So we can take a guy who's going to lose a finger or a toe because he has this wound that won't heal.
And it's gone.
We can close that completely and have him completely healed in about a month. So fully healed in like a month.
Now
Whereas
that's before it's gone gangrene, right?
even if it had gangrene on it, wouldn't matter. That's just a bacteria, and the gel will kill any of those bacteria. So you're talking
Wow.
about much worse stuff than gangrene. You have like MRSA, the methicillin resistant staph. You have VRE, which is actually real name is vancomycin resistant enterococcus faecalis, which is why they say VRE, right? It's like the second most deadly bug that you can get in a hospital. Multi-drug resistant stuff. Our gel will kill it in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So all you have to do is put it in the wound. We're after a direct claim on surgical incision sites. And so cuts, burns, wounds, all the old people stuff, pressure ulcers, diabetic ulcers, and all of that. But incision sites. So one of the things we did was we just put out a summary of 55,000 human clinical trials in the dental industry where
Yeah.
we'd been using a number of products and we got heal rates of half the normal time. For example, we also make a serum, right? A facial serum. And we use hyaluronic acid at about 3-4 times the level of any of the really expensive facial products. We're talking about the top serums in the country, $300-400 serum. We have more of the active ingredient in that. But instead of selling them another one with the second active ingredient, we put it in with the first one. So we have a serum that has silver, hyaluronic acid, and nanocollagen peptides. So collagen is what your skin's made out of. And it's so effective that we actually have it approved in Canada for wound care, and we've been using it in dental bone grafts. So they would pull out a tooth. Before they can put an implant in, what they have to do is they have to put little chunks of bone in there, and then they put it in a saline solution, put it in the hole, and your body uses that bone to make new bone. It takes about 30 days. Using our serum and putting that bone in the serum, putting it in the hole, we can actually heal it 5 days.
Oh, that's
And we
So
can
have you
incredible.
put
been
in
have you
an
been
implant. We can put in an implant in 28 days instead of 3 to 4 months. And we've done thousands of them, right? With 150 dentists.
is it just the biological dentists that you've been dealing with that are kind of proactive
No,
on this, or is it regular dentists?
these are hardline dentists. So, like for example, there's one up in Park City, and his name is Dr. Chandler. Incredible
Yeah,
dentist.
yeah.
Yeah,
Scott Chandler.
yeah, Scott
Yeah,
Chandler. So he's
yep.
been doing a whole bunch of clinical trials using our stuff. And
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
also
He's a biological dentist.
yeah,
Yeah,
but he's also got a regular DMD, right?
yeah, yeah,
He's just more. So
yeah.
I do have a lot of biological dentists, but I also have just, I don't know, implant dentists. I have surgeons. I have a lot of those guys all use it. But in 55,000 dental procedures, we've never had a single secondary infection. None.
Wow.
And we have heal rates of about half the normal time. So, and it isn't like we've done 20 or 50 of them, right? We're talking
Mm-hmm.
about 55,000 clinical procedures that have been completed that are certified. And now it's probably a lot more than that. The report we put out was 55,000. But this is the same gel. And we use it for little kids' scratches, and we use it for burns, cuts, wounds, bug bites. It'll take the itch out of a bug bite in maybe 5-10 minutes. So you put it on a mosquito bite, no itch. You can put it on a hornet sting, same thing, all done in minutes.
Now, is this a different? This is different than what we were talking about earlier, where it was the wound care, right? Or is it the same
This
same
is the same
serum?
wound care gel. But
Okay.
we've talked about 3 products. One is a
Okay.
serum, and that's made for the face, makes the skin intensely soft, but we also use it in wound care like bone graft. And then
Gotcha.
we have the gel, which is approved in Canada for a lot of
Okay.
things, right?
And is it basically the same thing? It's just that's a thicker substance, so it's a gel versus a
Exact same
serum?
product, same substance, different labels. Exact
Okay.
one. So in the US, we're after both prescription and over the counter claims on it, but
Uh-huh.
it's the exact same product in the same tube. And hopefully within the next few months, you'll be able to buy it as a prescription or an over the counter drug in the US, 510K device drug. And you can buy it as a cosmetic as well. So then we have liquids, we make gummies. The gummies, we looked at kids and we said, look, all the kids, they really hate taking vitamins because they taste bad, right? And so what we did was we looked at all the things that you need to get into a kid for his immune support or her immune support. So vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, which is a great antiviral, and elderberry juice, #1 medicinal juice, and then the nano silver. And we made it into a gummy. We brought it out for kids, but it went nuts. I mean,
Nice.
literally nuts. We have people from all over the world who buy them, and a lot of them are adults. They just love the taste of the gummy. And so completely safe, no negative action, give them all the stuff they need, and they eat a gummy first thing in the morning, they go.
So
Nice.
when we talk about silver, there's a lot of uses, and we've actually have used silver for a really long time for a lot of different things for with our kids. And can you tell us though, what is the difference between ionic silver and colloidal silver?
So that's easy. So ionic silver, most of what's called colloidal silver on the market is an ionic form of silver. And what that means is it's missing, each silver ion is missing one electron and it wants it back. And so when it comes up against a bacteria, it can steal one electron out of the cell wall. And if it steals enough electrons, the cell wall fails and it kills the bacteria. So ionic forms of silver have the ability to kill some bacteria, but they cause inflammation. They're not like a nanosilver that eliminates inflammation. They can actually cause inflammation, and they don't work against a virus, a yeast, or a fungus. They just don't have any effect on those. So a nanosilver, on the other hand, this one we're talking about, has been proven to have multiple modes of action. So one of them is that it can bind to a virus and keep the virus from being able to infect new cells. Can't do it. And so you can't really kill a virus because they say it's not alive. But you neutralize it or neutralize its ability to infect a cell. Basically, you kill its ability to reproduce or infect somebody, right? The nanosilver also can kill yeast and fungus, and it does it at really low levels. So, for example, the 32 ppm liquid, I had a problem in one of my bathrooms where the kids, when they were younger, would shower in that downstairs bathroom, and they wouldn't open the window or turn on the fan. And so I had a lot of moisture collecting up there, and I was starting to get some black mold, Stachybotrys black mold. So what I did is I had already had the test data, so I just sprayed it with the 32 ppm liquid. And in 10 minutes, it was all gone, never grew back. I just left it 10 minutes, wiped it off, and I was all done. So
So what are the uses then? Like, why would people use ionic silver, or why would they use colloidal silver? Like, what would be the difference there?
So for years, people have used silver to fight infection, and ionic forms of silver can do it, and also help heal stuff. So the #1 burn cream in the U.S. is called Silvadene. It's a white pasty stuff. Has 10,000 parts per million silver. It does work And like on MRSA, methicillin-resistant staph, it will kill it, but it takes like 5 hours to kill it. It's a bacteria, right? Multi-drug resistant bacteria. And it does work. It just works really slow and it takes a long time. And and it also causes some issues with the skin. Can cause discoloration of the skin because there's so much silver in it. And in this case, the nano silver will kill it in the same bug in like 10 to 15 minutes, goes on, eliminates it, helps heal up the wound. But if it was a fungal infection that caused the wound or infected the wound, colloidal silver wouldn't do anything. It would just be in there. It wouldn't actually do anything. Where the nano silver would eliminate that bug and also help heal the wound. It's an anti-inflammatory. So what that means is if you put the gel, for example, in a wound, you find in about 10 minutes it starts to eliminate all the pain. And so if your kid crashes on his scooter or on his skateboard and he gets road rash, all you have to do is gel him up, and in a few minutes, most of that pain is gone. And you've also cleaned the wound, and you've also helped start the healing process, which will heal about twice as fast. Let's say that you have a basketball player, right? And he comes home and he sheds his shoes and clears the house out because his feet just really stink. Using the gel or the liquid, you could gel up his feet or spray some of the liquid on there. 10 minutes, you could eliminate all the odor-causing bacteria. It's easy to do, it's fast. The other big thing about the liquids, and this is a big deal because colloidal silver that's ionic cannot eliminate a virus, right? But they're peer-reviewed publications, and we have some of those where we've done the studies and published the data showing that if you take a nasal sprayer and you fill it with the nano silver, which we sell one, as a nasal rinse, and you rinse out your sinuses, okay, once a day, 2 squirts in each nostril. We have a peer-reviewed publication which shows that you can drop your chance of getting the flu from over 28% to 1.8% just by rinsing out your sinuses once a day in the morning.
Well, when we were kind of during the COVID era, right? We took my staff down to Mexico on a trip, and we all had our little silver bottles, and we were making sure we were squirting it up our nose.
Because at the time they wouldn't let you enter or leave. You know, you couldn't leave in the airplanes if you
if you
COVID.
Tested positive.
And so you were stuck in Mexico for a week or two if you didn't until you tested
positive, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
we just made sure we squirted that throughout the day. We just, it's like we gave everyone a little bottle. And it's like, okay, guys, you're squirting that in, so we don't want anybody testing positive. And yeah, we did totally fine. We were on buses, we were on all kinds of things and had no issues whatsoever.
Exactly. So there's a big group that put out, let's see, University of Florida, University of Tennessee, and Alberta in Canada, in December of 22, put out a study showing that if you took nano silver and you nebulized it, right, made it into a mist and breathed it in, they claimed, and they had 3 hospitals, so 3 major universities, 2 in the U.S., 1 in Canada, 3 major hospitals showed that they could eliminate COVID in 3 days using a nebulizer. Peer-reviewed published data available to the public, but not published, not made. Nobody was aware of it, right?
Right. Well, yeah, there's not as much money in it, right?
Right. So the scientific journals hit in December of 22 in the middle of it. And they said, hey, this works. It will kill it. It takes 3 days. And they also put out data on sinus infections. And they also put data out on colloidal silver showing it didn't work. And that caused inflammation and all the stuff we talked about. So the difference between the nano and the colloid, the regular ionic colloids, is that ionic colloids will kill good bacteria in your system, the helpful stuff, at about 2.5 ppm. Cannot do anything against yeast, mold, or fungus or virus, but they are effective against some forms of bacteria. The nano silver is broad spectrum, can take out all of those, doesn't hurt the good bacteria, and our data shows that our technology up to 40 ppm, which is higher than anything we sell, for up to 40 ppm won't even inhibit the growth of the good gut bacteria you have. So a lot of people with gut problems will use our product, clean out their intestinal tract or their microbiome, and then they use a good probiotic or kefir or something and rebuild that. And by doing that, they eliminate a mass amount of stomach issues, right? Especially if for some reason they've had to use antibiotics over time. It wipes out your good bacteria. In this case, they can rebuild it. But in order to do that, you have to empty the parking lot of the bad stuff. So the nano silver can help empty the parking lot. So when you put the good probiotics in, they have a place to exist, right? And by
So you're
doing
saying
that,
that
you can heal your gut.
so a lot of times people don't think that you can ingest the silver, but you're saying absolutely if it's the right kind.
Correct. And in fact, at one point, we went to the University of Utah, 6 different drug divisions, and we said, we want to do a human safety ingestion study. And they said, well, first of all, we don't want to do that because we think it could be dangerous. And they said, but if you'll bring somebody in and let us put them in a big machine and see if they have any silver in them, deposited in them, then we'll let you do it. And so everybody in the company, since I was the CEO, they all pointed at me and they said, you're going. And I'd been drinking in all the products that I used maybe 20 or 30 ounces a week. And in that, they put me in an MRI machine, which was horrible for me. I fit in there like a bullet in a gun. I was tight, and I have claustrophobia. And when I opened my eyes, that ceiling was like this, and you can't move anything, right?
Right.
Which is
Yeah.
painful and difficult. So they kept me in there for 2 hours.
Oh
They
gosh.
checked from the top of my head to the bottom of my toes. They came back and said, look, we've looked you over completely, and we can't find any silver in your body at all. So they said, we'll do a study, and we'll involve the FDA. It'll be an investigational new drug study on ingesting the silver at 10 and 32 ppm. So at those 2 ppm levels, they tested it for people drinking an ounce every single day. So it's like 60 people drinking it every day. And what they found was that our nano silver technology, the technology we use, had no negative effect on any system of the body. That it went into your body and hit your height in your bloodstream in 2 hours, washed completely out of your body in 24 hours. And so we proved that it was absolutely safe for everyday consumption to be able to drink it. And then people came back and they said, well, we don't believe that drinking silver actually does anything. And so we completed a bunch of humanitarian work in Africa. So the second leading cause of death on the entire planet is malaria.
Right.
There's like 200 to 300 million cases every year across the world. And estimates are about 10,000 kids die every day from malaria, especially in Western Africa.
Wow, I
And
didn't realize it was
so,
that high.
yeah, so we did a humanitarian thing there. And in that, we had 4 different hospitals doing tests on the product, right? And they were giving it to kids at between a half ounce and an ounce a day, depending on the size. We found that we could help heal them completely, eliminate malaria from their bloodstream in 3.43 days. Walking out of the
Wow.
hospital fully recovered, 5 days.
So why is this not known all over the place, man?
It is. The question is if they'll use it. So what happened was we got a call from the U.S. Congress, and they said, we want you to testify in Congress in front of the entire committee on malaria, TB, and AIDS. We want you in front of that full U.S. national committee, right? Congressional
Mm-hmm.
committee. And we would like you to come and stand in front of us and give us the data. We said, look, we can't do that because you're asking us to make claims we can't make in the U.S. We can make those in Africa, but we can't make them in the U.S. because we had some approvals in Africa where we could make the claims and do it on a humanitarian thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Congress said, look, we make those rules and we'll give you a pass. We want the data. So in 2005, I personally stood with my father before the U.S. full congressional committee. Fauci was actually on that committee. And we gave
Well,
him all
that's
the
what
data.
doomed it. That's what doomed the whole thing. If he was on the other side.
But what happened is we gave him all the data showing that we could eliminate malaria from the bloodstream or help eliminate it from the bloodstream 3.43 days. Have all these kids fully recovered. We had no failures. And we had, I don't know, I think there was like 60 or 90 people in the original. And after that, we did tens of thousands. And we're doing it with another big Utah MLM company who was doing it as a promotion, right? They were donating product in. And so it was a big humanitarian project that we did. And it was really cool because they went over and filmed it. They showed a little kid who was 2 years old, almost dead, showed him drinking a little bit of it. And 4 days later, it shows him playing on the floor with toys. There's no more sores on his face, fever blisters. He was all healed up. So in front of Congress, we gave him data on AIDS, TB, and malaria at their request. They published all of the data. It's available. Full U.S. congressional testimony. It's all available. It's in the Library of Congress. I have the direct copy of where it is and the thing where you can get to it online. The address. If anybody wants it, you just ask. I'll give it to you. You can read the whole thing. But we also have peer-reviewed published studies on it. So
it's just interesting that to where this is a huge thing that's happening in this world, and it's such a simple solution, but yet they spend so much money trying to reproduce some other kinds of drugs when we have colloidal silver readily available right here.
Well, they're using the nano silver.
The nano silver.
Yeah, so when you look at it, that's why we can continue to win awards, because we do innovation on things. So we've worked with the U.S. military on stuff like our soldiers were dying because they were getting an infection. That's called Acinetobacter baumannii, and it's an infection that our drugs couldn't stop. And we showed that we could kill it at like 1 or 2 ppm, and we could do it in like 10, 15 minutes. So the U.S. military published that data. Then we did another study on another parasite called leishmaniasis, and it is hellacious. You get it from a sand flea, and they actually have it in Texas now. It's in the sand. So this flea bites you, injects leishmaniasis in. There's 3 different types of this parasite, but basically it gets into you and it just starts multiplying and eating tissue. You get a bigger and bigger hole in you. And when it hits something important like an organ, you die. Well, the military found in testing with us, I worked directly with them, but they found that we could eliminate it again at like 1 or 2 ppm in minutes. And so they published that data as well, and we have that. So currently, I have maybe 600 or 700 major studies and test series that we've completed with people all over the world, in Israel, in the Middle East, in all sorts of different places. So this little company in Linden, Utah, is working on all these major problems all over the world. And
I
some of
love
the
it.
stuff we're doing is stunning. So, most of the treatments, for example, for um, eczema, if you look at it every night on TV, they have a whole bunch of drugs that do
Oh
eczema
yeah,
or
yeah.
vitiligo.
It drives us
There's quite a few of them.
crazy, huh?
And the funny thing
Well,
is when it
on
shows the end picture, it still shows there's stuff there.
yeah, and most of them are really expensive. And not only are they expensive, but they have qualifications on the end that I just love listening to, right? It's horrible, but you listen to it and it says, this will help you. And then it says,
Yeah.
yeah, it causes this and bulging eyes. And, you can die of this and this, and it can cause you to have a heart attack.
But these are rare, but they're
Yeah,
still, yeah.
yeah, but death is it's a pretty nasty side effect. Unless you have more faith than most people, you have a hard time bringing back dead people.
Yeah.
So the point is, with the nano silver, we can eliminate it. We can help eliminate it. We can do it quickly. It's not expensive, and it is a registered drug, but it has no negative side effect. It's made of natural ingredients, makes the skin intensely soft, right? And that's just one example. So
So
we
were
can
you able to patent it where it's natural? Because that's the thing with drugs, right? Is it has to be patentable, otherwise they can't make money on it, and so that's why they have to change and alter things.
so we
So were you
file
able to
patents.
patent it?
We file patents on certain things, and other things we don't on purpose, because of the fact that if you have the data and you release it and it helps people, you're going to make money anyway, right? When you're us and you're working hard and helping people, people come back, and if it works, they keep buying from you, so we keep growing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some stuff that is just much more important than money. And so, for example, this is a big one, but about 3 weeks ago, we put out a report published in Europe, and that report showed that our nano silver could kill about 10 different types of cancer cells at very low
Wow.
levels. And we put it out in Europe, so everybody had it at one time. And we wanted to put it out so it was less dangerous for us to release the data, right? Everybody has it at once, but we didn't patent it. We said, look, this data is free to everybody. Anybody can grab it. Anybody can publish it. Anybody can utilize the data. You just have to put on there that this is where it came from. And myself, one of my sons, and a number of scientists out of India and some other places published this data. So I think it might be one of the most important things we ever do in our whole lives. And whether we don't need to own that, if we can help people, that is the point, right? Do well by
Yeah,
doing
good for
good.
you. Yeah,
And
good
the
for you.
point
That's
with
awesome.
that is that we didn't tell anybody how to use it. What we said is, if you get the silver to these infected cells at this level, it will eliminate 50% of those. And we put out all the scientific data, right? It'll eliminate 50% of those cells in the first 24 hours. And so we didn't tell anybody how to use it, because we knew there's thousands of people all around the world that can figure that out. And so we didn't treat cancer. We just gave them the keys to the kingdom. Said, look, if you can get this much to this type of cell, and it included like breast cancer and glioblastoma, which I really want to see more work, and we're continuing to work, right? But if you get glioblastoma, you have no chance of life. To last 1 year, you have a 20% chance of lasting 1 year. You have less than a 5% at 2 years. And you just have no longevity. If you get it, you're dead. And so we put out data showing that the nano silver could help eliminate it at as little as 3 ppm. 3 parts per million.
So how are you getting that into a cancer cell? Are you having to inject it, or like
Okay.
depending on where it's
Now
at?
remember, we did not put out the data telling them how to use it. What we
Right.
did was give them the keys and said, if you can figure out how to get there,
Uh-huh.
then what you have is you have the keys to know how much you have to get there. But there's thousands of really brilliant people who can figure it out. And we didn't patent the data, and it cost mass amounts of money to do those clinical trials on stuff. But the US now has a law called right to try. And so if you have no hope, your doctors can actually use stuff that could possibly help you. And by
Yeah,
giving
that
them
that law
the
was
key,
brought into existence mostly for the new drugs and stuff, right? That's what they brought that in, is because there wasn't the clinical data, but they thought it had a chance. But now you're twisting it on them and actually using it for something that isn't going to be a $1 billion expense.
correct. And we made it free. We didn't patent it. It says right on the study, it says, look, this is free to everybody, no restrictions, no restraints. And hundreds of people had already downloaded it within a couple days. So it's already spreading all over the planet. And that's something that a little company in Utah with partners in India, some big major institutions, double checked all the data and put it out saying, hey, here it is. And so the
Nice.
point is, if we can do good things happen for us, right?
Oh, for sure.
Goes around, comes around. And so you have this group that we're talking about, meaning us, and we're working on world problems and being able to help solve a lot of those problems and publishing the data in major scientific areas. But as well, we publish a lot of data in like longevity magazines and stuff so that people can get to it and read it and understand what the scientific stuff actually says in a form of English they can understand. Because some of those scientific reports are hellacious, right?
Oh
You read
yeah.
them and you go, yeah, it sounded really good, but I have no idea what that said unless you have the background. So what we do is we take that data, translate it into English, and then we put it out, and so people can get it and read it. And because of that work we do, the state of Utah has honored us with, out of the thousands of biotech companies in the state, right? Some $1 billion ones. This little no-name company called SilverCeuticals, who isn't important at all, has won the Medical Innovation Award 2 times in the last 2 years. And my team has actually won it about 8 or 9 times in the last 16, 17 years. So the top medical innovators in the whole state, part of this little company that is working on changing the world, right? And we
Nice.
do it by helping people.
You know, there's a lot of people on here that have families, and there's a lot of different uses of why we should bring this into our family. And I even had an experience today. Like I said, we use silver a lot, and my son came home, and he's a wrestler, and he was just wrestling some of the other wrestlers, and he comes home today and he's like, Mom, I got ringworm on me, what do I do? And I'm like, oh, we need to put the silver on there, because that's how we've killed it in the past. And there's so many different things that, what are some of these basic things that families can use to be able to, make sure they have it in their first aid kit that they can use, just like with my son with his ringworm. And I know when our kids were younger, they had molluscum, and we put silver on the molluscum, and that killed it and took it away.
Oh,
And
that was 10 times better than what we tried with the medical model
with
when
the
we didn't
medical
when
model,
we
we
didn't
spent
realize it.
thousands of dollars, and they had scars all over them from burning it off. And we just used ended up on our third child just using the silver, and it took it away. So what are some of these things here that families can use it for, and what would be the best things for them to have within their household?
Okay, so it's an easy thing. Um, a lot of people came to me and said, look, you have a lot of information in that big head of yours, but it's hard for us to get to. So they said, we want the information. And so a decade or two ago, I started with the help of a couple thousand MDs and DOs and naturopaths to come up with protocols and general use protocols for nano silver, not necessarily just ours, but nano silver. And so we put out a book called Silver, Nature's Natural Healer. And every family ought to have a copy of it. It's available on Amazon. It's only like 14 bucks. Kindle version is like $9, but it's about 230 pages. And any question you could have about different types of silver or Algeria, the blue man thing, silver buildup is all answered in the first third of the book. Second two-thirds of the book talk all about general uses of silver, how much to use, how often. If you had ringworm, right, it'll explain that ringworm is one of three fungus. So ringworm is actually caused by a fungus. And if you have a product that can eliminate fungus, it's pretty easy to get rid of that. So obviously the gel is a favorite for that. Also in wrestling, I was a wrestler, right? And you had to worry about getting a MRSA infection. You get a little cut, and you had people that just wouldn't wash their clothes, and they stunk. So, I mean, you can get rid of odor-causing bacteria. You can put the gel on if you get a little scrape, and you don't have to worry about it getting infected. It helps promote natural healing. It does it quickly. Like we talked about with the odor causing, the kid sheds his shoes, any teenager, and he clears the house, right? So in 10 minutes, you can do that. We have data showing acne. So if you looked up acne in the book, it would tell you exactly what to do, how much to use. And the serum is approved in Canada, for example, for the treatment of acne. And so is the gel. And do they work? They work really well at helping to naturally heal the skin. And the serum, especially because it has the nanocollagen peptide. So collagen is what your skin's made out of. So you add that in with the ability to reduce the inflammation, and you have a really positive effect on acne in a hurry. So there's one family doc at Johns Hopkins who actually put out a gel product that we may or may not have made for him, that he sold to all of his clients under a private label for acne. He called it an acne product, right? And this guy was a family doc, a chair at the time at Johns Hopkins back east, major hospital system, right? But he found the gel worked really well, and I think the serum actually worked better. Like I say, Canada's approved it for that. So there are, in the book, just as an example, there's about 100 and some odd different use protocols. So if you had an eye infection, you look up eye infection. If you had pink eye, it's part of eye infection. And it would show you that the liquid could help eliminate it in like 3 days. And most of pink eye is gone in a day and a half. When I was in high school and pitching baseball, I had a huge problem that I got pink eye, and I had it for a whole month. And I couldn't catch the ball because it threw off my ability to one eye to do it.
Yeah.
So I couldn't detect where the ball was coming, which obviously was a problem. But all of those things, water purification, right? We're all worried about storing water. If you look up water purification, I did a whole bunch of testing with the guy who runs the CUP. So his name is Gerard, and he is the guy who is in charge of the entire central Utah water. They do most of drinking water for Provo, Orem, a lot of Salt Lake, and a lot of other cities, even out through the basin. And he did water tests with raw river water and found if you took the 10 ppm and dumped it into raw river water, it would kill all the bacteria at 1 to 100. So 1 ounce of the 10 ppm liquid to 100 ounces of raw river water, it would kill all the bacteria in the raw river water in a minute and a half.
Wow.
So if you're camping or you're in Mexico, you might want to know that data and take a bottle in your carry-on, not your carry-on, but your check, right? So when they give you that bottled water that they probably filled up in the tap out back, you can add just a little bit, a capful, and you're good to go. So we also found that at 1 to 200, it would kill all the bacteria in raw river water in about 20 minutes. So if you have the data, you know how much to use over what period of time. You can store water, not worry about the chlorine breaking down into haloacetic acids, which are cancer-causing agents over time, right? You can use a filtered water and then put the nano silver in it and be able to keep it for a long time instead of supposedly trading it out every 3 months, which nobody does on their water storage, right?
Yeah, they don't.
So all of that data is in there. A lot of women get vaginal yeast infections. Canada has specifically approved the gel as a personal lubricant to eliminate problems like vaginal yeast infections. You have like a 15-minute time period, and you can help eliminate it in like 15 minutes. So in Canada, we make direct claims. The info's in the book, but in the U.S., we would say helps promote natural healing, which it does.
Say the name of the book again, please.
So it's called Silver, Nature's Natural Healer.
And are you the author of that?
From the Silver Use Institute. Like how to use silver. It's on the Silver Use Institute website too. The keys are on there. So
are you the contributing author, or is it like if they looked up your name on it, would you be the author of it or no?
I would not be on it because there was a lot of docs who helped write it. It's from the Silver Use Institute.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Perfect.
And it's an amazing book, right? That helps everybody. Yeah. They don't have to remember, hey, Keith told me I had to do this to do that. They don't need to do that because all the info is in the book, right? And they just look up whatever problem it is they have.
No, and we would encourage everyone to do that because I think what we've learned is how not just innovative, but how useful this nano silver technology can be. And we are so grateful for your time that you've spent with us today and sharing with us the information on how it can be for so many things. And the nice thing is it goes back to what we're all about with our podcast and with the conference, is that it's all natural. And that's the awesome thing. So we just want to say thank you for your time, for your efforts, for all the things that you have done in your back history to be able to get this to where it's at now, so that people have this knowledge and they have the products that they can use to be able to help benefit their lives and their families' lives. So thank you so much for all that you have done, and for the time, effort, and money, because you spent a lot of money trying to figure this stuff out in terms of getting it promoted, getting it figured out, paying for the studies and all that kind of stuff. So thank you for your efforts on that behalf.
And it also looks like you guys are offering everyone of our audience, if they go to your website, SilverCeuticals.com, and put in Be Healthy Naturally, they get 25% off your products, which is awesome.
So anything which you want to try, Be Healthy Naturally is at checkout, and it'll 25% off anything. So.
Well, that is very much appreciated. We definitely appreciate it when people such as yourself do that. So it gives people an opportunity to jump on and do what they do. What would, like, just for the mom and pop, what would you recommend? Like just a bottle of what would be the easiest thing, the best thing for them if they were just to get one thing? What would you suggest?
So I think every family needs some of the liquid. You want the liquid. I like the 32 ppm because it's the extra strength version. And you want the gel for sure.
Okay.
Those are the two mainstays. But
Okay.
if you're a kid with, if you have a bunch of teenagers and they're fighting stuff like acne, the serum is incredible. We have a toothpaste on there that is stunning, and it's fun. If you want to see if our stuff works, what you do is you brush your teeth at night with one of the 3 toothpaste, brush it, spit it out, but don't wash it out, leave it in. And Shane, the first thing in the morning, you lean over and you give her a big kiss and you say, baby, you're welcome. Because unless you're on a CPAP for the first time in your life, you will have your teeth will still be squeaky clean and you have no bad breath. She's fair game. So it's stunning, but in one night, you will know that our tech works. And if you don't,
Nice.
you can always send it back for a full refund, right? But
Well, that's a great.
Brush your teeth, spit it out, don't rinse it out, leave it in. Next morning you wake up and it's crazy because you go like this and it's still squeaky clean. It seems wrong. But we
that is interesting.
Studies showing that we can break the biofilm and remineralize the teeth and help wipe out gingivitis.
Wow.
Well, thank you, Keith, for being on today.
Have a great day.
Yeah, it just is getting more and more and more. We could probably have it on for a lot longer.
We appreciate you being on and just with the wealth of knowledge that you've had to be able to share today.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. And thank you for all of being in the front runner of so many different things to be able to help us. And, I believe that most of our answers are here in nature, and silver is one of them.
I agree with you. And combined effort is also great. It isn't just the silver alone. There's great stuff to add to it, and we do that in some of the other products.
Nice.
Combined efforts can be miracle products, right? So
for sure,
silver is fantastic, and we appreciate your time. And on another day, if you want to just ask me questions, I had a woman that said, look, I have some knowledge of silver. I just want data. I said, okay. So she, on a podcast, she asked me questions for 2 hours.
Wow.
I just answered questions one after another. So if you want to do that on another day,
that might be I think our audience would probably like that too. So,
yeah, so thank you very much.
All right. Thank you,
Have a
Keith.
great day. Thanks for your time.
You too.
Appreciate it.
All right. So that was awesome. There was a lot of information. Your health journey is between you and your healthcare providers.
So remember, this podcast is for educational purposes only.
To stay up to date, visit us at BeHealthyUtah.com.
And please subscribe to our newsletter where we give additional health information, health tips, as well as recipes.
Thank you to our 2026 sponsors.
We truly could not do this without them.